Welcome back to Backyard Science. My name is Liz, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to move your indoor garden outside. And we're going to do a tour of my garden while I talk to you about that. So, the first most important thing is making sure that the part of your yard that you pick has plenty of sunlight. So this section of our yard got really good sunlight. It actually rises behind this building here and moves to the right throughout the day. So it gets really good morning and afternoon sun. Another thing to consider is making sure that your soil has really good nutrients. So for us, the first year that we put in the garden, we went ahead and got some compost and rototilled that in so that the soil was really healthy. Another way to ensure that you have healthy soil is making sure to do crop rotation, especially with nitrogen fixing plants such as those in the Brassicaceae family, which will be like broccoli and cauliflower. So I move where those are every year to make sure that the soil stays really healthy. Another super important aspect is really encouraging those pollinators. So I make sure to plant flowers that will bloom from early spring through the end of summer and hopefully, if I'm lucky, into early fall. So that way the bees will have something to eat all summer long and they'll keep visiting my plants and making sure that they are nice and healthy. So I always try to make sure that I have one section of my yard that's just dedicated specifically to wildflowers. And I try to be sure and put up plenty of hummingbird feeders as well to encourage hummingbirds. I actually have four going right now because they just seem to really like the eaves under the two buildings. And so they visit them really frequently and I'm filling them up almost every day. So they do really seem to like the hummingbird feeders, which is nice. Something else to kind of keep in mind is that you will definitely get pests of some type. The pests that I deal with the most frequently are gophers and moles. So the gophers and moles, we've had to do some experimenting with how to deal with them. I don't want to do any kind of harmful activities with them, so I actually have put in the ground some sound vibration devices. So they actually, put out these little vibrations that irritate them and kind of drive them away. I also have this like scent deterrent, so it smells really bad. And I put them around the plants because the gophers will actually ruin the roots. So that way they'll sort of smell it and it's like a really bad smell to them and will drive them away. We've had also some issues with chickmunks and rabbits actually, but they're a little bit easier to manage because they don't like to be out in the open. So we just have made sure to either hand pull or weed whack all of the like tall grasses and weeds and shrubs around the garden so that they don't have any cover. They won't really venture into the garden because they don't want to be exposed like that because they could get eaten by a predator. But the thing that I love the most about my garden is actually being able to see specifically where my food comes from because you go to the supermarket and you might get an apple or a potato or something and it doesn't really tell you the story of where that food is from. So this is a potato plant. I have been taking care of it since it was just a little spud and putting dirt on top of it, mounding it up, and I know that I'm going to get plenty of good potatoes from it. We also have an artichoke plant, which I just think it's incredible to see the artichokes growing and actually being able to sort of see them forming. So I'm just going to leave you with this image of sort of the garden plan that I do each year before planting. while I go over sort of the takeaways from this video for moving your garden outside. And of course, the most important thing is making sure that you have adequate sunlight and good quality soil. And if you don't have good quality soil, knowing how to improve it so that you get healthy vegetables. Of course, you want to make sure as well that you have the space and can place your vegetables in a way so that they can grow well. It doesn't need to be as large as the garden that I have. You can get quite a lot out of just a very small patch of soil and get quite a lot from it. Of course, you want to make sure that you have the time to dedicate to care for your garden. As you can tell from my video, I haven't been able to get to my garden lately. It's been kind of rainy and I've been stuck indoor on other projects, but I need to get out there and do some weeding and give it some TLC because it definitely needs it. And then of course, a garden is kind of a monetary investment. I know that Zoe went over how to use kitchen scraps to sort of grow some plants, and that's a great way to sort of start something inside and then move it outside when it's ready. But there are some costs involved that you might not that you want to be sure that you're prepared for. You might not think about, like if you need to rototill like I do because I have a relatively large size garden, you need to be able to buy or rent one, and the cost of compost can get a little pricey. So just making sure that you're sort of prepared for that. But otherwise, I hope that this video was useful and was able to help you if you want to move your garden outside.